This video is brought to you by Atomic Wheels, your go-to source for premium fully forged rims for your electric vehicle. Enhance the style and range of your Tesla or Rivian today. Go to atomicwheels.com and use code TFLEV for 10% off your order.
Chevrolet says that they built the all-new 2024 Silverado EV RST to be a real truck, which means it needs to drive comfortably, hold a lot of people, have some payload, tow trailers, and on and on and on, and have some range too. So in this first drive, I want to put as many of those claims to the test. I'm going to pull that boat you see behind me. I'm going to do a 0 to 60 acceleration test in the most powerful Silverado ever made. I'm going to take it on the highway and show you all the features. Let's get going. So here's how you enable the WOW mode, or wide open watts, which is the quickest drive mode. So you hit that button and then you enter this mode selection mode, and you could hit this little whoa. Okay, so it's not quite a spectacle that the Hummer Edition 1, the GMC Hummer EV truck, where it kind of plays you a movie and kind of shakes and vibrates and lowers. It's similar to that. So now I need to check my other settings. So I can go to my mode, do the edit button, make sure my steering is in sport, suspension in sport, acceleration feel, motor sound is also in sport. So all those settings are correct. And then there's a button on by my left knee to lower my suspension. And you can see it here. I can lower my suspension to entry-exit mode, so now it's as low as possible, and then I simply just nail the accelerator and get the full power, 754 horsepower. So let's see how it works. So here's a little demo. I have got my draggy going, so I'll be able to tell you the 0 to 60 of this truck, and then let's do this. 754 horsepower. So Chevrolet says it should be under 4.5 seconds, and it is 4.37 according to my GPS device, my Draggy. And it was interesting, it kind of wandered a little bit, but it's a lot of fun. Is it as quick as a Cybertruck or some other electric pickup trucks? We'll have to do a drag race side by side and find out. The Cybertruck technically is supposed to be around 4.1 seconds, so maybe it might be a close race. This truck is quite heavy. It's about 9,000 pounds. Now here's a different truck with a demonstration of what's possible in this bed. It shows the midgate that I'll show you inside of in just a second. And with the midgate folded down and the tailgate folded down and the stopper in place, this distance is about 10 feet 10 inches, so just under 11 feet. So you can put big items like this. The RST has the export power feature, 240 volt, 120 volt, up to 7.2 kilowatts here and 2.4 kilowatts in the front. So simultaneously, it could do a little bit over 10 kilowatt, simultaneously using every possible combination. But I love this feature, not just for charging electric bikes like this or running compressors, but also doing a lot of other things, like even powering camping trailers like you see down there. One thing I'm not in love with, because these wheels and tires are so massive, they basically couldn't fit a spare underneath the bed. The work truck has a spare underneath the bed. In a normal position where it's usually truck drivers are used to, it's underneath the rear bumper area. But this truck has an inflator kit that's in the front. So that's not the greatest, because what happens if you get a flat or a serious tire damage, either towing or when you're on gravel roads? So you got to consider that thing. Yeah, this opening here for the rear seat is massive, and you could see this 40-60 split. So somebody could sit there while this kayak is actually in place and could be tied down. You have the glass installed right here, right now. It is heated, but you can remove it using these latches too and stow it away. If it's a beautiful day, you can have some open air back here as well while the seats are in place. So, but it's not a power operated glass in the rear. The RST model of the Silverado EV has different trim. I really like this blue and red. There's also this first edition tag or label here on the center console. So these are the trucks that we're testing on this first drive, first editions, and Chevrolet people told me they're actually being shipped out of the factory. They're built in Michigan at the Hamtramck facility, Factory Zero, they call it. And yeah, I like this trim. I like a little bit splash of color. It's kind of dreary sometimes when it's just black on black on black or just gray on gray on gray. But I think this kind of brings the truck a little bit more to life. I like this feature of this truck. Chevrolet provided the trucks and they provided the display as well, but I think it's a pretty accurate representation of what's happening. So the length of this sheets of plywood here is about 4.5 feet, and that's the end of the bed of the Rivian R1T. Of course, the Rivian also has a tailgate, so you can extend that a little bit. Ford F-150 Lightning is about 5.5 feet, so you can see the difference between the two. Tesla Cybertruck, on the floor, you can put a 4x8 sheet of plywood also, but the floor of the Cybertruck bed is around 6 feet, so you can see the difference here. But all the way into the midgate to the tailgate here is almost 9 feet. So this is how the midgate really makes a difference, and you can carry some massive sheets of plywood. This is basically a 4x8. It's not going all the way inside of the cabin, but it's right here, and I can close. Ooh, we got a lot of rain. I can close this tailgate. You see this, guys? Of course, this truck is equipped with Super Cruise, hands-free highway driving. And why do I say of course? It's because this is a premium version of the Silverado EV, the first edition RST. And it uses the latest software for Super Cruise. It's hands-free, but I still have to pay attention and I still have to be aware of what's happening. There's a sensor right here on the column that's watching my eyes, make sure I'm still attentive. This is not, go to sleep mode or, read a book mode. I still have to pay attention, and the system works while towing as well, which is very cool, and also the only system on the market right now that allows towing in hands-free mode. And right now I'm on the Highway 94, and it's working great. And it also has auto lane change. So we'll have to wait and see if it decides to change lanes, because I think it still wants me to pass that semi-truck up there. Feels like I still have good spacing between me and the semi. All right, I'm not touching anything. Oh yeah, it's doing it. It determined that I, of course, passed safely and I don't need to be hanging out in the fast lane anymore. So it decided to change lanes, and it did it by itself. I didn't even ask it. I could also initiate it using a blinker, and it will check if it's safe on the right or on the left, changing lanes. So this system works really well. I like it more than most other systems I've tried. All right, we're heading back to Detroit, and I want to show you two things. First of all, I want to show you the efficiency this truck is getting after about, 40 or 50 miles of driving. And also I want to show you some settings and one negative thing that comes with these gigantic 24-inch wheels. So this truck is large, it's fairly heavy. That means it has to have a lot of air pressure in the tires to support its weight. As such, there's about 70 psi in the rear and 65 in the front, and these tires are pretty firm. So in sport mode, especially in like downtown Detroit, where there are a lot of, here we are, there are a lot of potholes and kind of road imperfections. Here, let me show you. Under my mode, there's like normal off-road and tow haul, but under my mode, I can adjust things. And with sport suspension, you could definitely tell, and also can hear a lot of road imperfections coming in. Let me try to show you. I don't know, you could feel that or hear that, but now this helps. Switching to tour mode kind of relaxes the truck a little bit, but it's still maybe not the best riding truck of all of the competition. And I'm including, of course, electric trucks in that competition as well. Like Cybertruck is actually sprung pretty softly. So that's the negative part, I think, of these wheels. The positive is that I think this truck is still very efficient. So if I go to vehicle status, my current trip, that was 56 miles-ish, 2.2 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's really good. And then this trip 2.3 miles per kilowatt hour. So that's pretty good efficiency. The work truck Silverado EV has been on sale for a few months, but now it's the RST truck's turn. RST, Rally Sport Truck, is really about performance. It's got a lot more power than the work truck, 754 horsepower in its maximum performance mode. We're towing this boat and of course its trailer. The whole package weighs maybe just around 6,000 pounds. I haven't used the scale to verify that, but I wanted to show you the brake system on this trailer because I haven't used it in a while. This is hydraulic surge brakes. You can see a hydraulic fluid reservoir here. You can see some hydraulic lines. So basically what happens when you're slowing down and the trailer is basically pushing onto the truck, this moves, it actuates the hydraulic cylinder and actuates the brakes. And it has a 4-pin connector right here that has an adapter into the 7-pin connector. So really we're not using the trailer brake gain controller inside the truck, but it's still getting all the lights and everything like that for this trailer. So we're not really testing the brake actuation by the truck for the trailer, but we're testing how it tows. I haven't seen a boat like this before. This is a Forza Electric outboard open bow fun boat. As you can see here in the rear, there's no squat, and it's because of height adjustable air suspension. You can also see these gigantic 24-inch wheels. This truck looks like a concept that just rolled off this auto show floor, but it's actually a production truck. It also has rear steering capability, which can help a lot while towing because it adds a little bit of stability. If the trailer was ever to sway, the truck should take care of it. But it's really easy. I mean, the truck is all level, the trailer is level. It all appears to be nice and safe. So here you can see the trailer setup screen on the Silverado EV RST. It's very, very similar to the one that they have available on their gasoline and diesel powered half-ton and heavy-duty pickup trucks. My gain is actually, I'll be setting to 0 because once again, I'm not towing an electric trailer with electric brakes. It's a surge mechanical brakes. But I can see that this trailer already has 20 miles on this, and I'm in drive, and also I can make sure that I'm in tow haul mode by hitting this button up here and then making sure that the tow haul mode is enabled, and it recalculates my range. So I have 57%. I love that they're putting percentage here now. It wasn't around before. And it's estimating 140 miles with this trailer based on how I was driving. Is this the best setup for trailers? It's close. I really love the new feature on the Rivian R1T electric pickup truck. That tow haul mode on the Rivian truck also predicts really accurately, actually, the weight of the trailer by using the suspension and also the load that the electric motors are seeing to estimate how much you're towing. And we've tested that. You could check out videos. We did an iGauntlet World's Toughest Towing test with the Rivian with the latest software. So I would say, as far as electric pickups are concerned, as far as the user interface and the usability of it, I like the Rivian maybe more than others. Ford trailer setup system is also very, very good. And GM and Chevrolet here is also really good. I think the Rivian has just one software tweak over it. We also towed with Cybertruck, and it's okay. I don't like their system quite as much as some of the others. So we are on a country road here in Michigan, and Super Cruise is enabled, and I'm towing. Super Cruise, of course, is Chevrolet's hands-free mode. You could see the green symbol right here in the steering wheel. There's also a green steering wheel symbol inside. And this is really impressive. First of all, they have this feature. I've used this feature on several different GM trucks, including the Hummer EV. And so I have some familiarity with it, so I feel really comfortable with it. It may not be immediately comfortable for you when you get into a truck like this. But we're towing, just over 6,000 pounds. The truck is super stable. I'm going, 55 miles an hour-ish. And let me set my cruise control speed correctly. There we go. No feet, no hands, but I'm still paying attention. I'm still here. I'm not falling asleep or reading a book or staring at my Instagram page. Pretty cool. And GM is the only one who offers hands-free while towing. All right, let me accelerate a bit. Yeah, there's plenty of power here. Maybe it's not neck-breaking power, but I don't think it needs that. Especially if you're towing something like a camping trailer with all your fine china and your bottles of wine back in the camper. So you don't want it to slosh around too much. And let me let go. I'm still in tow haul mode. I'm going to try to slow down. And you can kind of see regen, the green graph. Yeah, there's a lot of regen capability from these motors. And you can put a lot of energy back into the battery when towing over mountain terrain. I'll have to reserve some other opinions until we tow long distance in Colorado. For example, I still want to do a night gauntlet and Denver 100 loop with our camping trailers as well. So we can do range testing, but Chevrolet says 440 miles of range without a trailer, which I believe completely. Let's say you divide it in half for towing. All vehicles lose a significant amount of efficiency when towing. That's about 220 miles. Let's say you remove a little bit more if you're towing a very, like a boxy trailer. That's still around 200 miles. Maybe a little bit less than that. That's still a significant distance to drive, like about 3 hours before you need to recharge. Speaking of charging, this truck is able to charge using its 800 volt architecture, and it drives under 400 volts, so it kind of has this dual system. But when charging on level 3 fast chargers, it's capable of up to 350 kilowatt speed, which is a lot. It's one of the quickest available on the market. Maybe the total charging curve is not the best in the world, but still a lot of fast charging capability. And it's a huge battery, approximately 215-ish kilowatt hours in this battery. So like a Cybertruck, for example, has 122 kilowatt hours. F-150 Lightning has 134-ish, so does the Rivian. So this is a massive battery, and it shows. I haven't used a lot of range yet by just driving, I don't know, 5 or 10 miles, I have my range didn't drop much at all. So that's a pretty good sign. Now you're probably wondering about price. Well, the work truck is already available on sale. Like I said, we tested the 4WT version of the Silverado EV. That was around $79,000, almost $80,000. They also now are selling the 3WT version at around $75,000 with a slightly smaller battery. Now this is still the biggest battery option you can buy, 440 miles of range, and the price on this RST, the way you see it here, is $96,500. So it's under 100K. It's still a lot of money. So you still have a choice, right? Do you want a traditional gasoline or diesel half-ton truck, 1500, or do you want a Silverado HD 2500 truck, maybe with a diesel or a gas V8, or do you want something like this? So the choice is really up to you, and I'm pretty glad that Chevrolet is actually offering that choice instead of saying, oh, forget about it, we're no longer going to be selling diesels or gas trucks or vice versa. So it's an additional truck for you to consider. Let me know what you think in the comments below. And I asked that question in the beginning, is this a real truck? Well, it tows well at this first drive. We didn't load it up fully with payload, so I can't quite talk about that. Range-wise, I'm not worried. We drove from Detroit out here to the countryside, and we were seeing anywhere between 2 miles per kilowatt hour to about 2.2. So that range figure of 440 miles, I think, is really valid. And it's really quick, as you just saw. So I think there's a lot of great qualities. The ride though in the city on rough terrain, on rough pavement, is not too great. Thanks for joining me. I'll see you next time at oldtfl.com, where we can put this to a more thorough test in Colorado.